All right, so trust me, it is almost impossible not to underestimate this. I mean, it looks kind of cool, but I had absolutely no idea just how powerful this really was. Yeah, it does all that too. So this is the Logitech MX Creative Console, and over the years I've tested out a bunch of these kind of consoles before. I still have a few of them, but I have been using this one for the last 6 weeks, and in that time it has just done for me what every other one failed to do. It went from being just this cool accessory that kind of sped up my edits a little bit to a device that just might transform my entire workflow and fix problems that I don't even know that Logitech meant to fix. And the other thing is that as of today, I only think that we are just barely scratching the surface of just how powerful this little thing is going to be. Now, Logitech is the sponsor for this video, but a quick search of my Amazon history and probably a walk around my house, and you'll find out that I have been a very happy Logitech customer for like decades. Actually, I purchased the MX line, which is this line right here, the keyboard, this mouse as well. I started using these in 2019, and these are just absolutely amazing. I've been using them ever since. In fact, Logitech, if you watch this, I beg you, like, bring back the Harmony remote. I have 2 of those that are like a decade old, and I really need a third, and nothing else even comes close to touching those things. But the MX line is just absolutely amazing. Like, the hardware on this is incredible. So more on that in a little bit. So a quick review of this before we kind of break down why this is probably never leaving my desk. So it comes down to 2 main components. So you have the keypad, which is this 9-button full color LCD panel. And you can adjust the brightness on this, which is really nice, but I find the brightness at full is pretty much great for everything I do. And then you have these 2 paging buttons. You're gonna wanna use these because this can actually store 15 pages worth of stuff, and when you start to get into like what you can program this to, you're going to want to program a lot of different stuff. So think like 135 shortcuts, macros, and apps, and just all kinds of stuff that you can launch at a second with one of these things. And then you get this dial pad, and the centerpiece of this is going to be this knob right here. It has a friction bearing. There's a roller right here. There are 4 customizable buttons. I think this layout just really makes sense. It's customizable. It allows you to do amazing things, but it does it without getting like super confusing. Now the actual dial right here, this has Bluetooth low energy or Logi Bolt for connecting. But my favorite part, it's just like Logitech's mouse. There is a button on the back right here that you can switch. So you can actually program this to connect to up to 3 different devices. And then you can just press one of these to switch in between them, which is really great. It's actually the main reason that I bought my MX mouse back in 2019, because I use a desktop, I also have a laptop, and then being able to switch between these just by hitting the button, you don't have to like reconnect Bluetooth or anything like that, is absolutely amazing. It just changes the game with so many things. Now the buttons on this, they feel good. They have like this soft kind of muted click, like you probably won't even be able to hear any of this, so very smooth. The dials are also really smooth as well. I wouldn't have minded just a bit more resistance. It's pretty easy, like if you just touch this at all, you will accidentally rotate this. And if you're not paying attention, you're in like Lightroom or something and you're moving some of these dials, you are actually probably altering whatever your picture is. You might be changing the exposure or something like that. Now you do have speed control for all of these dials to minimize this, but I have turned mine all the way down completely, and I still wouldn't have minded just a little more resistance. I use the MX mouse and keyboard. This is by far my favorite setup for Apple computers, especially because they match the aesthetics of everything. You can get these in 2 different colors, like a silver that matches this, or this dark gray, which I really like. And the mouse, you can actually use it while charging it. Crazy concept that I think Apple still doesn't get. The keyboard on this, it is backlit. Everything on this is customizable. My kids still use my original MX mouse that I purchased in 2019. It's that good that MX is becoming generational in my household, at least in tech years. Now the console, I do think it has just a slightly different hardware vibe from the rest of my line. The unit itself, it's a little bit plasticky. It just doesn't quite feel in the same league as the rest of my Logitech MX Master Series, which uses more heavy-duty weighted metals. Now this is made from recycled plastic, so 72% in the graphite version, 55% in the gray. It's probably a lot of the reason for the plastic choices on here. And it is going to be, it's not painted, so this is all going to be one color molded in, which is actually really good because it shouldn't wear out over time. But it does almost have this 3D printed texture, which just kind of feels a little bit more first gen. You do have an aluminum dial, which feels really nice, but the scroll wheel is more plastic as well, which is knurled metal on the MX line on the mouse itself. So that kind of get that change of feel between those two, just a slight bit. I do think the extra weight of this being metal would have helped because it's very lightweight, so it's kind of easy to move around on your desk, where the rest of the MX line is very weighted, so just very planted. Now the digital display is going to be my favorite thing functionally of the entire thing, and really it's the reason that I am already to the point where this cannot leave my desk. Just being able to see the icons that you have, seeing them change as you move between applications, having shortcuts and complex macros and custom icons. They can be color coded, just having pages and pages that you can scroll through of all of these options is amazing. And I'm gonna get ahead of myself a little bit, but I have an entire page dedicated to just my hue lights, an entire page for complex macros, and this is just the beginning of all of this stuff. So this functionality alone is just well worth the price of this. So with other consoles without a display, if you want to change what a button does, it can be a pain to really remember and start to muscle memory what those changes can be when you can't actually see what a button does. But the way this is kind of divided up into 2 sections where they play off of each other, I think this works really well. So I think people are going to kind of buy it for this dial pad because they think this is going to be the productivity master for them. But honestly, I think you're going to keep it because of this. It's just that good. Now, I am a mechanical engineer. It's my degree. I did over 10 years in product design, so I tend to overanalyze hardware just a little too much. But this stand right here that Logitech has, I do think this could be a little bit better. It doesn't allow you to change the angle at all. So you either have this flat on the table or you have this at an angle. And it would be great because I think this is a little too flat. And if I was putting it up, I'd actually put it up at maybe a little bit steeper angle, just barely. So it would be great to have this, but also this stand is extremely light. So it doesn't quite keep things firm to the ground. The center of gravity is it's very high on this because most of the weight is up here. So if you touch some of these buttons, it's just very easy to kind of move this around on your desk. Plus, the way this kind of spits the cord out of the back, you can loop it in here and give you some cable management, but then if you want to take this out and put it on your desk, you have to pull the cord away from there. So just not ideal. Now visualize this for me for a second. So let's say this had the USB cable go into here. This actually had a charger built into this. This was wireless with an internal battery, so Bluetooth, and then these could just magnetically dock to each other. So you would be able to pull this off and be able to use it for a couple of hours. And I know that's all you'd get on the battery life, but you could just dock it right back, and you might even just keep it permanently docked the way that you use it every time you need to. So if you want that constant on display, just dock it and you'd be good to go. Plus, I do think these should kind of magnet together in some way. Like a lot of people are going to want to use these together, and it would be great if you could just lock these together. And both of these should probably have some kind of an integrated stand into that. I think that would be great. Or just kind of build this functionality into the MX line keyboard, because if Apple had used like any of this functionality, if they had this much when they did that touch bar display, they would have revolutionized the laptop. This is just so amazing like this. So Logitech, hire me if you need to, but this is just, it's really amazing. I just want to take this to the next level. Now, functionality, this is where you go from like, you guys should probably buy this, to you won't be able to live without this. So first of all, the customization on this is absolutely amazing. You can do so much with it. It's not overly complicated either. And I'm sure this is all going to improve with time. But even now, it is so powerful that it is just, it's way above the level of what I expected this to be. At the same time, you don't have to complicate this at all. It is literally plug and play. So you unbox this, you plug it in, it takes maybe a minute to set up, and you have immediately 12 programs at launch out of the box that will have custom menus and icons and everything like that. They are working with Adobe and some of the other manufacturers to find out what are the things people use the most, and then have those buttons pre-configured to each of these. So all of that works out of the box, especially if you use Adobe. That's where most of these custom profiles are going to be loaded into and pre-configured for you. But even if you don't use Adobe, you can always create your own custom functions and custom profiles. So DaVinci, for example, that is not pre-configured as of launch. It might come in the future, but I was able to pre-program my own custom shortcuts and macros in just a few minutes. And then we get to the stuff where it just kind of takes this to the next level, and where I think this is going to be on everyone's desk in about a year. There is a marketplace. That means that users like me or devs or anything like that can create custom profiles, even for software that Logitech doesn't already have plugins available for. And there is no charge for you and I to be able to access all of these different setups from the marketplace. I asked Logitech if there might be an opportunity for creators to actually make their own plugins and then charge for them on this marketplace. They said it's something that they're kind of looking into, but as of now, you have free access to everything that's on the marketplace. And there's kind of like good and bads that come with it. So I like that it is free and being able to access everything, but there might not be as much incentive for a lot of people to create some really cool stuff without being rewarded in some way or compensated from their time. But maybe even like a tip jar would be everything that they would need. Now, if you are an Adobe user, you're going to want to get this right now, because it also comes with 3 months of free Adobe Creative Cloud, which is at least $150 as a part of this. And this works with new and existing users. That's like mic drop right there. Like I've never seen a promo that actually works for existing users. I tested this myself. I got a coupon in the box and it works. Like, this is Dan verified Adobe users. I think this is going to be amazing for you. Now, what's interesting is probably my favorite application for the dial has been culling photos in Lightroom. It's something I hate to do, but this has actually sped up that workflow so much. So I can increase the exposure slightly with this dial right here. I can actually scan through my photos with this as well, but I kind of prefer to go one button to one button. And then I have these two set up to flag my image or 4-star it in either one. And as I go through the image, I just go through it, like that photo, click it. Don't like that one, we'll flag it. And I just go through my images like that. I'm not even touching the keyboard. I'm not touching a mouse. Like, literally, this is it. And I can go through these photos in no time. Another really cool feature is Logitech has this action ring, and from this you can literally just hover your mouse over these different things and just rotate your dial and it adjusts those. So actually the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think it's 9 different setting sliders in Lightroom can actually be adjusted simply by hovering your mouse over each of those and then using the dial. Now I want to show you just how insane some of these custom options are. So I'm going to open up the Logi Options Plus app, and this is where we can configure everything. Now I do a lot of video editing, so I have this set up so that when I am in Premiere, I have programmed quick launch buttons on the keypad to be able to launch custom folders inside of Finder. So all of these items right here, I would be accessing at some point during a project, and I can just click on music, sound effects. I have my stock videos here. This alone is saving me a ton of time. Plus, I have visual representation. I have icons on this that say exactly what they do. So I'm not having to like remember, oh, what does this custom button do? No, with all of these, I just have pages, and I have this context page of all of these different things that I would need while in Premiere, and I can quickly access them right here. I also have websites programmed right below it. So if I need to access maybe a new sound or sound effect or video, I can just click on Soundstripe right there. It takes me right to the website, and I can go download it. I also have my IG and YouTube program. So if you're not following me on IG, go ahead and do it. Now's a great time. Subscribe while you're on YouTube. These are all quick access right to these, because a lot of times I need to be able to get to those while I'm working. And Philips Hue lights actually already have a plugin available at launch. So I have all of my lighting inside of here. If I want to dim my entire office, set up my recording lights, anything like that, one click done. Plus Hue has these smart plugs. So I have like my Nanlite professional LED lights plugged in there as well. So one button and I can turn all of those things on and off as well. Or maybe you want to control like this multi-action macro where one button is going to dim your room light. It's going to open Spotify, it's going to open Premiere, it's going to open the 3 folders that you use the most, it's going to turn up your screen brightness to 100%, it's going to toggle do not disturb. Like, all of these possibilities are literally endless. And I know that I am scratching the surface, like barely scratching the surface here, because you can also create and run Apple scripts or like run commands, or if there's an API for some other software, it can probably be integrated too. So I tested this a little bit. Now, I don't program too much anymore. So I asked ChatGPT, what cool basic script ideas would you have? What it said would be a cool idea is these dynamic folder structure creations. So I had it create the script for me. I added it right into the Logitech Creative Console using their software. And now I hit one button and it creates an entire folder structure, and I'm talking subfolders with raw footage, BTS, audio, final renders. I don't know what to say. Like, this is why you're going to get this thing, because it's going to speed up your workflow, and it's really nice for being able to call through images and videos and things like that. But this right here, like, once you start using this, this is going to revolutionize your workflow. And again, like, just wait until real smart programmers actually start to upload stuff on the marketplace. I guarantee you in a few months, this is going to be so much more than it is today. Now, I do think the way that Logitech designed this, it kind of works a little bit better as a desktop type setup. The way this integrates in and kind of works on this stand right here than like a super mobile setup, but you can really easily take this on the go. So first of all, this doesn't have to be used with this at all. You can use it completely separate. And again, like one little click on the USB, this immediately is going to pair to my laptop, and this can go with me anywhere. This takes 2 AAA batteries, and with these 2 AAA batteries, Logitech says you can get like a year and a half of moderate use. So that's pretty crazy to just this. But even this is going to be pretty mobile friendly. It'll just use the USB port and then you'll have a cable on it. But other than that, this is super easy to bring with you and everything like that. So yeah, let me know what you think of the Logitech MX console right here. It's pretty amazing what we can do with this already. I think this is just the beginning. I've been super happy with it. Let me know in the comments below though. Hope you guys are doing amazing. Whole lot of stuff coming up. So sub, like, all of that good stuff. Follow me on IG. I'll see you guys in the next one.